Hello and welcome to Gen Con TV's flagship show, TableTakes, where we are going to talk about the hottest and the latest and greatest TableTakes news with some of the coolest people that I personally know. Speaking of, why don't we introduce them? Hey, who we got over here? Peter, what have you been up to?
Hi, thank you, Marcus. What have I been up to? I've been like if my eyes are like wide open, my ears are pinned back, and I'm like, actor Oki and Gen Con TV. It's like I signed up for way too much work, but it's so much fun. So if you haven't heard the news, we have all sorts of new shows coming out on Gen Con TV, and very excited about it.
Awesome, Peter. Thank you. How about you, Javion? Do you have anything you want to share with us this week?
Yeah, I've had a pretty good week. I started a new job
Ooh.
on Wednesday. I'm doing some reception work because I like, greeting people. And it turns out all of my new coworkers love D&D, so we have plenty in common.
Oh, what a blessing. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also very excited for the show today because I have a very cool announcement. I can't wait to talk about it, but I'll wait. I promise.
Okay. I can't wait to hear about it. Well, something else I can't wait to hear about. Noir, what have you been up to this week?
Hey, just keeping busy at my job over at Evil Genius Games as a community manager. I've got a lot of stuff coming up tomorrow. Morning Ritual, Eclipsia, Fractured Destiny, and my Urban Shadows game. So I'm going to be playing games all night. And then going to try and sneak a few hours away to go to Mission Chicago, baby. It's Star Trek time.
Well, that sounds like an incredible use of your free time. Something to fill you in about what I did. Hi, I'm Marcus. I'm here replacing Bonsai for the next couple of weeks. Bonsai is on a trip, and we wish her the absolute best. She's going to be coming back, but for now, you're stuck with me. So, give you a little thing about what my week was. I didn't see the film Morbius. I didn't bother, didn't waste my time with it. And I feel very good about that because I got a lot of work done. So,
Made the right decision.
so everybody, welcome to Table Takes. We lovely hosts are going to take you through some really cool news. Let's start with Javion. You have some news for maybe some fans of D&D board games that they might want to play?
Yeah, yeah. So this is less news, and it's more of just an article written by Dicebreaker that we wanted to share with you guys. It's some board games, some ideas for board games for all the fans of D&D out there, because we know how much you guys love D&D. So, here are a few games that you can think about trying out this year if you want to take a break from your D&D session, or maybe your DM got sick and you still wanted to meet up and do something. So we're gonna start off with a very, very popular one. If you haven't heard of this one, I will be shocked. It's called Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven, for those few of you who maybe don't know what it is a giant box of legacy board gaming. It's all about fantasy. It's got all the same themes that you would find in D&D. A lot of people actually describe it as D&D in a box. But
Mm.
genuinely, what you're doing is you're picking out all your characters as you play the game, and you are going and doing questing, you're doing adventuring, you're doing fantasy RPGing. You get to make lots of decisions, and it's a legacy game, which means that you play with your group and you play over a long period of time. This sort of once in a lifetime experience, unless you have the removable stickers. Once you've played it, you've marked things in the on the map with stickers, or you've written things down, or you've torn up slices of paper of things. But it is really just a big fantasy RPG board game. Super popular, very, very exciting, and hard to find. So if you can get your hands on a copy, make sure you hold on to it because it could be worth something someday. Haven't you guys played Gloomhaven?
I have not.
You haven't? It's a heavy one. I still have it in like tucked away in like the dark in the bottom cabinet of my apartment where I used to keep all of the other games that are just it's really hard to set it all up. It's a very long game. Okay, so next up we have Lords of Waterdeep. Now I know Peter's played this one because we were talking about this earlier. Lords of Waterdeep is actually based on D&D. Waterdeep is a very famous city in the Forgotten Realms lore. What you're doing is instead of playing D&D characters, you're playing guilds, adventuring guilds. You're assembling teams using these tiny little cubes, and you're placing meeples down on different areas. And it's a worker placement game. When you place down a meeple, you get some stuff. And once you collected enough stuff, you can turn in a quest and earn some victory points. And that's what everybody's trying to do. You're going throughout the different locations in Waterdeep, and you're collecting the types of adventurers that you need in order to accomplish the quests and collect the gold and build new buildings for your headquarters and things like that for everybody to enjoy. And you're sort of blocking each other with the meeples. It's a very classic game. It's a very stepping stone kind of game. Very easy barrier to entry. Okay. So next up, we also have Descent: Legends of the Dark. Now, this one you may have heard of more recently because it had a remake come out pretty recently, only a couple years ago. It's an app-assisted sequel to the original Descent dungeon crawling board game. So it has a pretty hefty price tag. Much like Gloomhaven, you get a lot of content, but you can also find in a lot of local board game cafes. So a lot of people will already have like open copies, like demo copies for you to try if you want to. It is a dungeon crawling co-op board game. So it's sort of a group game. So you definitely want to get a lot of your friends together to play it. And you're playing in these scenarios in, again, this fantasy world, and you're using the companion app to set up the scenario. So it's, like I said, app assisted. So you grab like an iPad and you set it up. And it's great for people who find themselves stuck in that role of forever DM, where, like myself, where you're always DMing because if people know you can do it, they want you to. But in this game, you can actually play as a wide roster of interesting characters, including a hard-hitting warrior, a highly intelligent artificer, and a sneaky little cat boy. Yeah, so I haven't played Descent myself, but I do know, I have seen a lot of the stuff that comes inside it, and it is massive. They have a very interesting style when it comes to the board game design because it has levels, different levels, and the cardboard cutouts that you're setting up comes with miniatures and the cardboard cutouts. So it really pops on the table. Very, very huge table presence. Have any of you guys actually had an experience with Descent?
No. Like looking into it, this is the first time I've actually seen anything about it, and I looked into it when it popped up on the list, and like it looks cool. Like I'm not something I would have probably like seen if I picked it off a shelf, but like all of the pieces, everything about it looks awesome. So I definitely want to try these games. I've actually not played any of these ones, so I really want to try them now. Someone play games with me, please.
Oh, you know I'm always down.
You have to play Lord of Waterdeep. We gotta fix that, buddy.
Yeah. Well, hey, Gen Con's coming up, so let's see what we can do.
Right.
Okay. I'd love to play games, but don't pick the busiest week of my year.
Yeah,
you did that to yourself.
You were always like, "Hey, you want to play a game at Gen Con?" No, you can't do that. What about tomorrow?
We're all very excited for Gen Con. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So the next one on our list is Catacombs 3rd Edition. So Catacombs is a dexterity-based fantasy RPG game. What you're doing is, instead of rolling dice in order to attack monsters and things like that, you're flicking these pucks on the board, trying to knock them into monsters and deal damage to them with your special abilities and your special cards. It was one of the first games to really popularize a new style of board gaming that people hadn't really seen before, and integrate it into a game where you're using combat more often than not. So I think it fits super well in a very interesting way, because you don't just have to be like a pro at flicking these little pucks, because the special abilities make it a lot easier for you to reposition yourself. Plus, you got your team with you because it's a co-op board game. And then fans of D&D, I think, would like this game because one person actually acts as the dungeon master, kind of setting up the board, playing the scenario out for everybody, even using the monsters to attack the players as they go along. So very reminiscent of D&D. It's been compared to Crokinole, if you've heard of that game, another puck flicking game that's a little bit more widely known. It's more of an older classic game that people actually play tournaments of. Although I would love to see a Crokinole dungeon crawl tournament. That'd be really cool. All right, and then the last game on the list that we have is Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. You might have recognized that first part of the name because Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill, it was the first game in this series from Avalon Hill about, well, a haunted mansion. Well, they sort of took that game and reskinned it and gave it all new scenarios, all new characters and monsters to play with. And instead of being a haunted mansion, although that is probably one of the scenarios you can play in, you're going through a dungeon mansion, kind of. It's D&D. Baldur's Gate is actually another really important city in Fantasy Realms lore. So some of these games that are sort of based on D&D, you can actually play through them to understand more about the lore. I will tell you, I have not played a lot of the D&D video games, so I definitely don't have the wealth of knowledge that a lot of my players end up bringing to the table. So playing board games like this helps me catch up a little bit. Anyway, Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, it has players running through and exploring a big mansion, just like in Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill. However, instead of becoming a haunted mansion, one of you will become the DM. So nobody knows who the DM is going to be until you actually play through the scenarios and explore a little bit, which could be really exciting, especially if you don't want to be the DM all the time. Somebody else might have a chance to do it.
I was hoping you were going to say if you die, you become a wandering encounter, a wandering monster for the next party.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I mean, you can. There are some scenarios with if you kill a player, they become one of your minions.
Oh yeah,
my favorite thing. Yeah, I just love betraying people so much. All right.
Well, I do like Betrayal at Baldur's Gate a little bit more than Haunted Hill because, well, I mean, you guys know this about me. I get scared super easy. I try to stay away from horror every time I can, and everybody always wants to play Betrayal at House on the Hill. So I'm like, oh, wow, finally, a middle ground where we can all play the same game.
Some of the scenarios involved this game are much worse than the haunted house.
Oh, really? I guess I haven't played through a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta say, when I first, where my mind went right away, when this board games for D&D, I mean, my mind went to Titan right off the bat. I mean, that is a great game. I can't believe it didn't make the top 5.
But what's Titan?
Titan.
I haven't heard of that one.
Well, it did come out in the prior century. It was, in fact, all the games that I was going to suggest came out in the prior century to this century. So maybe that's why they didn't make the list. But yeah, no, there's this board that everybody's wandering around with their army. Your army has a Titan, of course, right? And then you go around, you're collecting troops. Like you go places like, oh, here's some centaurs, here's some minotaurs, and then once in a while you run into another Titan, player, the players, and then you fight. Whenever you fight, you bring out a tactical map and you move all your monsters. And so this game can take hours, if not days.
Whoa. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's epic. Okay. I say that when there's Gloomhaven on the list. Okay, maybe it's not that epic, but I mean,
it sounds epic.
Yeah. I mean, for the time to play versus the size of the box, it might be more epic. I don't know. Anyway. So, but this is. I clearly need to catch up on these games because I'm only out of the list of games you gave me. Only Lords of Waterdeep I've played, which is an excellent game. I highly recommend it. That game definitely deserves to be on the list.
Okay, well, I gotta try that then.
The other ones do too.
I also wanted to say, Peter shouted out another game before this that are kind of good for fans of D&D. Dark Tower. So there's the Return to Dark Tower, which I've been playing nonstop since we got it sent to us. I have the original game up here. It is that game. I am pretty sure that is how I'm going to get my little brother to play a game of D&D with me. I am pretty sure and also shout out to Restoration Games for this one character. Mormo. I'm just going to say this out and loud. Mormo is the best character of all time in any game whatsoever. And that's, I think, for me, a very weird thing to say. Speaking of weird, WizKids is releasing a brand new unlife-sized replica. Now this is pretty strange. WizKids is rewarding players who love the tactical feel of holding a piece of fantasy in their hands with a new life-size or unlife-sized foam monster trophy, like a trophy that you would get while taking care of a villain or an enemy. For those who followed our recent streams, you may have seen us cover the weird and wild variety of new products coming out of WizKids, including the magical teeth from a few weeks ago. Now, this is the unlife-sized replica of Acererak the Eternal, a powerful demilich from the Forgotten Realms. This is a large foam skull with carved green gemstone teeth and glowing LED lights to sit at your table as a victory prize for beating this. TableTakes reached out to the demilich for comment, receiving the following: I, Acererak the Eternal, beckon your doom. Come, foolish ones, to plunder my treasure if you dare. From your skin tapestry shall be woven, and bones shall carpet my tomb. Only I am beyond death's reach. Only I know the true immortality. This will be retailing in May 2022.
Sounds like a nice guy.
Yeah, he seems pretty chill.
Name's a mouthful.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Speaking of not flaying someone alive and turning their skin into tapestries, Peter, you have some interesting games to talk about.
I do. Yes. So, well, two of my favorite designers in the world, I mean, after Richard Garfield, of course, are Uwe Rosenberg and Reiner Knizia. Uwe and Reiner are both coming out with new games. And so this is like, this should have been the first headline as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm an Uwe Rosenberg fanatic, by the way. He is my favorite board game designer out there. He did Agricola, he did Caverna, Fields of Arl, Feast for Odin, Patchwork. I mean, the guy's phenomenal. I haven't even met him. I'm like a little fanboy. Like someday I want to meet Uwe Rosenberg because I'm just such an admirer of his work. Well, he's coming out with a new game called Framework. It is a tile placement game where you place tiles. and I gotta admit the description of this game is a little sparse, but you're placing tiles and scoring points. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. I highly recommend it. Also, okay, and so Reiner Knizia. Okay, so now Reiner Knizia has got a long, deep history of doing lots of board games that have really kind of defined the Euro gaming sphere, I think, in a lot of ways. And he is coming out with a new game called Turtle Mania, where there's an island and you have a bunch of turtles, and the turtles like sunning themselves on the island, and you're trying to get your turtles a spot, but there's not enough room, so sometimes you kick another turtle off the island.
No!
Oh, so what you're saying is this is basically WrestleMania, but with turtles?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
the
my
Royal Rumble with turtles.
That's WrestleMania with turtles. I mean, and that's kind of a big step for Reiner Knizia, I think, to get into WrestleMania type thing. No, there's no WrestleMania here, Marcus. Stay on target. Yeah. So this looks great. Both of these games are from Pegasus, which has also got an equally long history of great games that they brought to the market. So catch up on your Euro gaming opportunities here with Reiner and Uwe.
Yeah, I mean, those are some awesome new games. There's also going to be some more news coming out from them soon. So take a look next week. We'll have some more updates on some more cool games from those folks. Speaking of cool games from cool folks, Javion, I think there's something you want to share with us, isn't there?
Yes.
Oh, please take it away.
Very excited to share with you all some news that I only found out about last week. And I should have found out months ago, but it's fine. I'm not upset about it at all. You may have heard of a prolific board game designer who used to be on this show, actually. Goes by the name of Emma Larkins. Well, maybe you've heard of one of her amazing games. Heroes, and Then We Died, or maybe another one, Abandon All Artichokes. Well, maybe a lesser known one is one that you can finally get a chance to play yourself. It's used to be called Heart Catchers, but now it's called Squabblin Goblins, and it's got a whole new coat of paint. That's right. Emma Larkins just couldn't resist revisiting one of her favorite games that she's created, and now is sharing it all with us. With the design by Emma Larkins, we also get the art by Marty Cobb, who also designed some art for games such as Wildcats and Chainmail. Swablend Goblins is a two-player reskin of Heartcatchers, in which goblins are schemers that will stop at nothing to end up with the biggest hoard of gold and treasure. So what you're doing is you have your side of the board, your opponent has their side of the board, and you're trying to not only take the best cards for your hidden piles, but you're also trying to put the worst cards into your opponent's hidden piles. And you don't get to see what your opponent is putting in your deck, and you don't get to see what's in your deck until the very end. So it's all a big reveal at the end to see if you win. It's a very cute, very short game, much like Goblins. And it plays 2 players, but it's great for ages 8 and up. And it's a great way to catch up on some of those Emma Larkins IPs that you may have missed out on. And we're all very proud of her. Good job, Emma.
We are. Let's take a little moment of applause for Emma Larkin.
Yay!
TableTakes alumni Emma Larkins. Thank you. Oh no, this is awesome. I will play anything Emma makes. Emma is not only one of the coolest, nicest people I've met, she is an incredibly talented writer and designer. So absolutely, I'm going to play Squabblin Goblins. I also love card games, so.
Yeah, and it's a button dry game, which means it fits in your pocket, fits in your wallet, so you can take it anywhere.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Good job, Emma.
Yeah, good job, Emma. Seriously. Speaking of good job, that's something I know Noir's going to do with this next headline. Take it away, Noir.
Well, hello there. I'm here to tell you about a pretty cool new spooky game called Bureau of Investigation. Asmodee will release Bureau of Investigation, Investigations in Arkham and Elsewhere, a new cooperative mystery-solving game on May 20th, 2022. Bureau of Investigations is an investigation game set in the Cthulhu mythos. Players will be looking at strange cases that take place in the U.S. during the 20s that involve unspeakable threats from elsewhere. The game's mechanics are going to be based on the Sherlock Holmes consulting detective system, which was released in the U.S. in July 2020. And the game box contains 5 cases, 4 booklets, and an envelope, a map of Boston, a map of Arkham, 2 additional maps, 2 newspapers, 2 additional booklets, and a Massachusetts directory and rule book. This game is for 1 to 8 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in about 90 minutes. And it's also going to retail for $45. I love games like this. I was huge into Arkham Horror and Eldritch Horror, and it feels like this is going in that same direction. And I do love any game that comes with like props, so you got your newspaper to like really feel a part of it. So I think this is a no-brainer. Everybody needs to go out and pick up Bureau of Investigation.
Well, thank you so much. I believe you did do what is called a good job at that one. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about Frosthaven. You remember Frosthaven? It's that Kickstarter that hit about 13 million, which is roughly 26 times their 500,000 asking price. Well, they've had some trouble, like a lot of us. After a wildly successful Kickstarter, Frosthaven, the sequel to the 2017 dungeon crawler Gloomhaven, is set to be fulfilled this autumn. Last summer, designer Isaac Childress attributed an exorbitant shipping and printing prices due to COVID-19. According to a rep from Frosthaven's publisher, Cephalofair, the first round of printing is imminent, and that shipping is currently scheduled for mid-May, with the fulfillment of the pledges coming in September. This is really good news because it's been a little while for this. There's obviously, issues with printing and stuff, but it's so nice that this game that had such success is actually going to be coming to the people who helped it reach that success. Anyone excited about Frosthaven?
Frosthaven has been on my radar for a really long time, ever since Gloomhaven came out.
It looks
especially
so
because,
good.
Yeah,
You know, you
yeah.
feel like you need to play Gloomhaven first, Marcus. You just fill the box over there in your room.
No, I need. Well, you know you grab all the games you can and you pile them up so you can live on them. You build like a little house out of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of building, no, go ahead, Noir.
No, I was just going to say I have not followed this at all, but I do appreciate the words imminent being used in a not scary way.
Yes. Yeah, it would be weird if it was like the first round of printing is nigh. But yeah, no, this is really cool. Again, check it out if you backed Frosthaven, take a look. There's going to be some updates coming your way. So now we have some exciting partnership news. Noir, would you like to take this?
Oh, absolutely. So, Paizo and Foundry Virtual Tabletop have reached a partnership. Paizo is proud to announce that they've officially partnered with Foundry Gaming LLC to bring premium content to Foundry Virtual Tabletop. This new level of partnership represents the culmination of nearly a year of communal effort from Paizo and Foundry Virtual Tabletop, Sigil Entertainment Group, and Sirenscape, and contributors from the FVTT Pathfinder 2nd Edition development community. They've heard the outpouring of support for Foundry VTT user base and are extremely excited to continue to work with the Foundry team to bring Pathfinder content to their platform in a way that emphasizes the quality of their respective products. I think this is pretty cool. I've had a chance to play with Foundry. It is a very intuitive system, and I have had a hunger for Pathfinder. I've been reading all the books. I can't stop, and I've only played in maybe one or two games where we all didn't really know what we were doing. So like I'm very hungry to play this with people that know the rule sets of Pathfinder, and I think that this partnership is going to lead to some really cool stuff, especially with the addition of Sirenscape, which is just an extremely immersive soundtrack software that goes along with it. So you got your sound effects, you've got your visuals, and you've got Pathfinder. This is a winning combination, if you ask me.
Yeah, honestly, I like anything that makes remote gaming more accessible for people. I've played far more RPGs since 2020 than since before, and I kind of had a lot of these Zoom calls. I get a little Zoom fatigue when I'm doing all these screens for work, but when I play games, I love the concept of being able to like visualize having all the stuff there. This looks cool. I love anything that's doing stuff like this.
I mean, yeah, just to kind of inform everybody like what they can expect from this partnership. They've already announced that they're going to have scenes pre-configured with walls, lights, sounds, tokens, and hazards already placed to provide GMs the most convenient experience for running the adventure. So that means that if you're playing a pre-made adventure, you don't have to do anything. They have it all there for you, man, including the dynamic lighting, which it's just a historically aggravating feature because it has so many upsides, but to enable it has been tricky. So yeah, Foundry is definitely making some moves here.
The thing Pathfinder has going for it is its huge library of content. I mean, the amount of like just official material, not even just for first edition, but for second edition already. I mean, what they really needed was something like this, where they can really explore all of that content, all of those rules, putting it in a space where people can really easily access it, just like Roll20 has been doing, just like a lot of VTTs have been doing for other RPGs. This is really going to help them.
So
yeah,
go ahead. I've heard you guys say this a couple of times. VTTs, what does that stand for?
Virtual tabletop.
Virtual tabletop. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, kind of like Roll20. A lot of people use that one already. Just like this, it's just simulated board.
Hey, Noir, are you okay over there, buddy?
Oh, 1 second. I'll be right back.
Noir, are you alive?
Noir down.
well, We just need to get the, what is it, Elden Ring, where it says you died or whatever the thing is.
Oh no.
No. So we are having a little bit of a technical something that you know, it happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens to the worst of us. Really, it happens to all of us. So what we're gonna do is I am going to pass this over to Peter. Peter, do you have something interesting? Some kind of, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, I think maybe Noir got lost in the warp. Oh, what's the warp? Well, if you were a fan of a game that came out by Eon Games way back in 1977 called Cosmic Encounter, you know exactly what the warp is. That's where your ships go to die, but you also get them back. So, hey, okay, Cosmic Encounter. This is one of those games that are, yeah, Marcus? Oh, I'm still here. I'm still good. It's on. Okay, great. So Cosmic Encounters is one of these classic board games from way back in the day. It is a pioneer of games where every player has different abilities. And we're used to that in shows like in games like Root or the Dune board game, or so on and so forth. But Cosmic kind of might have been one of the very first games to have this idea where every player is different. So every player is an alien faction. You have your home world. And of course, you go out and fight other alien factions because there are other players. Because that's what you do. And this game has been out for so long, and Fantasy Flight is coming out with a huge expansion for it. It's called the Celestial or Odyssey, the Cosmic Odyssey, which is going to be, they say, the biggest expansion ever for Cosmic Encounter. And Cosmic Encounter has had a lot of expansions come out. So my first question was that, okay, bigger than any one of those, or maybe it's bigger than all of them put together? Oh my God. So it's got new aliens, it's got new variants, and it has a campaign mode. Woo! Doggies. Yeah, that sounds great. This is, if you're a Cosmic fan, I think this, I'll definitely be getting this game, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I don't play this game enough, but I love it. I honestly, I want this. I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to talk to all of my really cool and fun friends to play games with, and I'm just going to ask them if they want to play games. That's what
ask me too, though.
Yes, you're one of my cool friends.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So we are, this is the greatest thing here, because we are currently down a Noir. So me and Peter.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so me and Peter are the only ones with cameras at the moment. Javion,
not.
No, you're half on camera. This is
This is great.
So yeah, lean to the left. No, I'm just.
So this is actually really good, because this is just in time for Noir to be our bundle boss. Noir, take it away.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, now
I'm so excited already.
Wow, thanks, Noir. So I will be the, oh God, I can't even go to that screen. I will be the bundle boss for today in lieu of our own bundle boss. We are sponsoring Conan, for Bundle of Holding. I'm not prepared to be the bundle boss. I didn't even sing the song. This is Noir. Oh, no. Noir, you really let me down this time. Bundle boss.
Ooh.
So for today's Bundle of Holding, we have Conan Essentials and Conan Careers. I am clicking on these links right now, not because I didn't prepare looking for it, but because you guys deserve the absolute most attention paid to these really, really cool games. Most importantly, all of these games are going to go to benefiting The Good Fight. The Good Fight is a non-for-profit initiative co-founded by Modifius Entertainment owner Chris Birch. It is Roll versus Evil. Oh my gosh, Noir's here! We actually might be able to have a legit bundle boss. I am.
But it was getting so good.
Oh, oh my gosh, Noir. How you doing?
Sorry about that. The power went out of my apartment, so now I'm on the laptop.
Oh no!
Gosh. Okay, well, this is just in time for you to take over the bundle boss duties from me.
Yeah, look at that perfect timing.
Yeah.
So, hello, everybody. Let's check out the bundles that we got for today. In the first of, we have the Conan Essentials, which is going to the Conan Essentials and the Conan Career bundles. Both of which are going to be benefiting The Good Fight. 10% of each payment for these 2 Conan career offers will be donated to the not-for-profit initiative co-founded by Modifius Entertainment owner Chris Birch, Road versus Evil. Road versus Evil lets communities do what they love, which is to play games, while supporting frontline charities, charitable efforts working directly towards verifiable immediate results. Tabletop game companies helping to spread the word include Modifius, Steve Jackson Games, Gamma, Cubicle 7, Roll20, UK Games Expo, Artalsorian Games, Chaosium, Titan Forge, Paizo, Magpie Games, and Green Ronin, and others. So if you've got a love for Conan and you want to get into the Conan TTRPG, this is a great time to start, because not only will you be getting them at a really good price, but you'll be getting them at a really good price and helping for an even better cause. So jump into the bundle. Heck yeah, man. Who doesn't want to be Conan? Yeah. Oh, can't hear you, Marcus.
You can't hear me? Awesome. Well, hey, everybody. That was great. This is the one time I muted myself. We have, now we are done with the bundles and we are moving on to Kickstarters.
This is what happens when we ask our producer to not only produce, lead, and also star in our shows. Thank you so much, Marcus.
It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you all and to be talking about all of these cool Kickstarters. I would like to start first with my Kickstarter ending April 24th. Have you ever wanted to shed your skin, muscle, organs, and just hop into the briny deep in search of adventure?
Sure.
Yeah, right. It's pretty good. So in this game, Bones Deep, which is kickstarting right now, after you die, your skeletons, and I love this word choice, hatches and wanders away from its fleshy shell. In Bones Deep, there is no swimming allowed, no oxygen required, and no extra math. As a skeleton, you can treat the ocean floor as an alien world and just jump right in. Now, this is built off of a RPG that I have a lot of fondness for my heart, a surreal science fantasy RPG called Troika, but it's playable with every system. Every random encounter in Bones Deep aims to draw you deeper into the setting with warring factions, clues about hidden treasure, foes, cute pets, which I'm excited about, and cephalopod mysteries. They're all going to be competing for your attention as various threads to go. The book includes 5 detailed quests to kick off your campaign, written by a team of folks who were heavily inspired by the deep sea life, including a boat captain and an underwater educator. This looks cool. The art is cool. I really think I like Troika anyway, but this is going to be really fun for me to jump around the bottom of the ocean. There's some really cool pledges, $15 for a digital reward, as well as like goodies. I think everything is sold out on their big hardcover and with all the dice and everything. But you can still get a few dice, a couple of nice dice bags. These are really cool dice too. Oh my gosh. Check out this Kickstarter. Yeah, that's what I got. That's my Kickstarter. I like this Kickstarter. But so go ahead.
Yeah, but I got one too.
You have one too, Peter? Well, I think you should take that away. Why don't you take this, Peter?
Oh my God. So, I mean, this was just like, who wouldn't want to play Shield Maidens, a Viking cyberpunk? That's right. Yes, you heard me right. Yes, my mic is working, right? Vikings cyberpunk tabletop RPG. That's right. So I've read this complete description of this, and I still not sure I understand, but apparently it's kind of like maybe the Vikings in Marvel, where there's like contemporary Viking mythologies happening at the same time as modern Earth, right? So yeah, you have so Ragnarok has happened. Like a lot of the Norse gods are dead. A lot of things are in turmoil. All the things that you would expect to be, saving Midgard and defending Asgard and all this stuff just aren't around anymore. And the last hope of that world, and maybe our world too, as far as I can tell, are the Shield Maidens and Freya, who I think is still kind of actively working with the Shield Maidens. And they're opposing Fenrir because, that's how Ragnarok ends. Fenrir brings the Thimble Moon, the Thimble Winter. And as Shield Maidens, you got to fix it. I mean, you got to go down there, roll up your sleeves, and pull out your swords and jack into the hibernet and fix it.
This whole time, I've just been thinking of Techno Viking. Just
So yeah, I mean the art's beautiful. It shows all these Shield Maidens, and they have cool weapons and armor and guns and jacking in, like it kind of looks like a cross between, I don't know, some pick your favorite Norse mythology intellectual property and Shadowrun. That's kind of what anyway, I don't know, looks pretty cool to me. So I think it's worth checking out.
I don't know what a hypernet is, but it sounds rad as hell.
Oh, I know. I implore you.
I was trying to think of internet. And my mind went to World Wide Web, and I knew that would date me.
Well, so speaking of dating, let's talk about things you might need to save the date for. Noir, would you like to lead this next Kickstarter?
Oh, absolutely. You see, you will need to save the date for an unexpected wedding invitation. Yes, this is a Kickstarter that is a romantic mystery adventure inspired by Jane Austen for 5th edition. The Kickstarter ends April 20th, 2022. They're fully funded, but this is something that you're really going to check out. It's basically putting a good society game into your D&D 5th edition game, which is just awesome. There's professionally commissioned art by Alana Millar, who did work for Before the Stroke of Midnight, Secrets of the Drow trilogy. There are 9 illustrated and detailed NPCs with personal background descriptions, agendas, and secrets. There are new monsters, unique magic items, and legends and lore. More than 40 full-color illustrations and original artwork, including beautiful character portraits, and so much more to this. So if you want to, take your party out of the dungeons and put them into the dangerous world of the Regency era politics, then this is definitely the system to check that out, or the expansion to check that out. I think this is just going to be a really fun change of pace. Let's see how your barbarian does when he has to figure out, the salad fork from the soup. Let's see if he can calm down and handle that. Have a good time.
Yeah, this could be a really fun D&D wedding. I actually want to try to run this. I don't know what will happen, but I love the idea of speak now or forever hold your peace, and then a fireball comes hurling. Anything's possible in this fantasy world.
Yeah.
This looks really cool.
When Dee and I got married, we did our wedding as a LARP.
What?
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
For real?
Yeah, everybody.
That's awesome.
We had all the different things you could be in the wedding, parent one of the bride or the ring person and all stuff like that. And they were all just you just grabbed the card and everyone came with a secret mission and you could sign up for any role you wanted.
Okay, that's not only adorable, that's awesome. Invite me to more weddings, everyone. Do weddings like this. This is how we should do weddings from now on.
There's an alternate timeline where I quit all my other activities and focused on running wedding LARPs for people.
I don't know about y'all, but when I read Pride and Prejudice, I was just thinking to myself, this could use more fireballs.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been watching a lot of Bridgerton, so I am ready to go.
I want Bridgerton with more combat roles.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Noir, that was a really awesome transition on my part to get there to you. Now, that makes up for my lack of a transition here. Noir, what do you got for us?
Well, let us see what else do I have for you. We've got
You're
we've
still
got
thinking about that demilich trophy, aren't you?
I want it so bad, man.
I want to use it in Actor Oki. I want to get one.
Yes.
I want to use
yes.
it in the wedding game.
I'm gonna drop that link again so y'all can see that. I love this. I love this skull, this foam skull.
Yeah.
So next up, we have in part of the pronunciation, Epigoni, a myth pop RPG. It is a tabletop RPG of unworthy scions of deities, legends, and incarnations of ideas. Defy fate and discover who you really are. So if you like me are a fan of the Percy Jackson books, not movies, then this is probably going to be your jam of just being able to pick up the quick start to this system. Note that it is being translated from Italian, so just go in knowing that. But this is going to be really fun game for you. They take heavy inspiration from Neil Gaiman, especially the Sandman and the Book of Magic series, as well as American Gods and the Anansi Boys. Alan Moore, namely Promethea, the weird fiction and urban fantasy of China Mayville. Again, Percy Jackson, Fables by Bill Willingham. If those are your jam at all, just kind of taking a new look at how stories affect the world and the truth behind the legends and the myths that we've seen, then I'm definitely gonna have to recommend this one. Plus, the artwork is just so beautiful.
It looks so slick. Yeah, it looks so nice.
And it runs on a system that I've never heard of before. It works on the Copperhead system, where players describe their actions by using the keywords that define their characters to try and make the current challenge as easy as possible. Dice rolls in the Copperhead system only require the use of 8-sided dice, and players only roll when the outcome of an action is uncertain. The results of the roll determines the resolution of the action. Will it succeed or will it fail? And what negative consequences will it entail? In Copperhead, failing a roll only means you pay a higher price. So it sounds like a very fun and interesting system that I haven't tried out before. Sounds like a wonderful setting, inspired by some of my favorites. So this is a no-brainer. Epigoni, check it out.
Awesome. Thanks, Noir, for covering that. Next up, Javion, do you have I don't know, I feel a bit like hollow, a little empty. Is there anything you can do for me there?
Yeah. How about an empty throne for your empty soul?
Thank you.
Small Box Games brings a new 2-player card game to Kickstarter called An Empty Throne. Small Box Games is a small board and card game publishing company, but it's only one person large. They've been producing some stuff since 2007. And they have a Kickstarter here for only $3. You can print and play An Empty Throne, which is just a 2-player card game all about pitting players against each other to unite the lands under their own rule and secure their claim to the throne. It's a big battle game, but instead of battling with, well, like dice rolling and things like that, instead you're playing these cards down on your side of the fields, trying to gain control of the area, similar to games like Shot and Totten or Battle Line, or maybe even Dragon Dice if you played that old game. Um, it is a game where the characters are all very unique. I love the art design on this. You can tell that there's a lot of love and care put into it because each of them feels very unique. You've got one character that just looks like a big cleric with a warhammer, another one kind of like a plague doctor, but with like a seeing eyeglass and a cape. It looks really, really cool. The big draw for me is definitely the simplicity of the gameplay, where you only have these two actions and it's a really quick to play game. But I mean, you're playing like basically chess against another person, where you can sort of think ahead and decide how you're going to use the unique combos and synergies in the game, sort of get an advantage and attack your opponent, maybe gain more control of the different areas than your opponent can. So again, $3 for the print and play copy, but $15 for a physical copy. So super cheap way to support some small creators. And it's got 6 days left if you want to sign up for it. But I'm gonna hop right into the next one because I'm really excited about it. It's called Mall Peak. So if you've ever heard of a game called Skulk Hollow, Mall Peak is the sequel to that game. Is one of the Pencil First Games editions of, well, it's kind of a sequel. It uses a lot of the same mechanics as Skulk Hollow. It even can be combined with Skulk Hollow, so you can play with all the foxes, red pandas, bunnies, and mice from that game. Skulk Hollow had amazing reviews, and Mall Peak only makes it better because they added bears. That's right. You are playing as not only the Foxen and the Red Panda factions, but you're playing as the Guardians, who are basically these giant colossi that kind of like Shadow of the Colossus style. You are playing either side of this two-player game. You're either the asymmetrical side of playing a big army or faction of woodland creatures like bears, apparently, or you're playing the giant guardians trying to wipe them all out. It's a really cool idea for a board game, and they built it so expansive. There's so much content. All these winter creatures that they added in Mall Peak really add to the sort of hibernating bear kind of like aesthetic that they're going for. And you can even get the Runes and Ruins single play adventure that comes with it. It's narrative driven. It's kind of like a story based style of gameplay. And you can play it completely solo. And I know there's a lot of solo gamers out there. So Mall Peak, very exciting, ends on April 25th. So you got 17 days left before it's ended. So hop on it, because man, I mean, I've never seen so many reviews that praise a game that I've barely ever heard of before. So I've definitely been sleeping on this one.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Javion. And for our last Kickstarter, Yes and.
Yes, and which is the title of the award category that I signed up for on this Kickstarter, Improv for Gamers. Okay, now, all right, everybody gather around because you got to pay attention. So if you have not heard of Sean Nittner and Karen 12, this is the powerhouse couple down in the Bay Area that do Big Bad Con. You've heard of Evil Hat. You know, anything Evil Hat does, you got to sit up and pay attention because they have a long history doing great games. So Karen, this is Karen's brainchild. She's like, what? You know, I always talk about like how improv techniques could help your role playing. Okay, well, that makes sense. But you tell somebody about it, and they say, well, yeah, go take an improv class. And Karen's like, no, just bring it to me. Bring me the improv class as a gamer, like talking my language and so on. So I talked to Karen about it this morning. I says, you know, what really got you to inspire to do this was exactly that story. And then I gotta admit, I kind of had like, oh, my RPG game's pretty good. I don't need this book, you know. And then she started telling me like all these techniques and how it applies to role playing. Because I was thinking like, is this just? I mean, I don't really want my game to turn up into stand-up comedy. And she's like, no, it's not improv comedy. It's just improv. It could be improv drama and whatever. And so she's like broken down all these techniques that come from improv and pitches them at you in gamer lingo, in exercises that you can like, okay, now it's starting to sound like work, but okay, I really love role playing. I want to be as good as possible role play. So yeah, I decided, yeah, Marcus, I signed up my game and I signed up for the Yes and package because I think this is going to help my role playing game. If you thought it couldn't get any better, well, you might be right. Maybe it can.
Well, that is really exciting. I like. I know we're a little short on time here, but I like this because this combines two of my favorite things: live theater and D&D. So anything that can help people play role playing games and like learn a new direction to come from that, super exciting for me. I am all on board with this.
And she told me one trick, and I think I'm hoping I get a chance to pull it out during TableTakes game nights.
Woo!
It's happening soon. Sorry, jumping the gun.
No, very soon. Very soon.
Let's do the outro.
So yeah, let's. Exactly. So, folks, thank you so much. That is all of our news, headlines, and Kickstarters for the day. We are not done yet. We have an incredibly jam-packed day of fun for you. Today, literally in about half an hour, we are going to be here with some incredibly cool and talented people, GM'd by Super Dylan. We are playing, welcome to TableTakes Game Night, playing Everyday Heroes. That is coming up right next, and that is running until 5 p.m., in which 5 p.m. Pacific, we have Sarah's Table for Deimos Academy with Banana Chan and I believe some of the other creators. That's awesome. That game is still on Kickstarter. So that is something, if you want to take a look at that game, take a look at this demo. If it looks good, go support it. It's really cool. It's really spooky. It's really fun. Please check it out. We also have a brand new show launching this weekend, Nerd Butchery, starting this Sunday, April 10th from Nerd Butchery from at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. this Sunday Pacific time. In case you're wondering what it is, D&D, cosplay, and a whole lot of Dwarven Forge. It's going to be some fun role-playing. And don't worry, throughout the rest of the week, we do live up to that, the best 4 days of gaming all year round here at Gen Con, because we have so much content for you. For the Brothers Murph, Mondays at 4 p.m., we'll be playing some really cool games from Underdog Games, like Trekking Through History, with the Trekking Through History trivia, and Coconuts. So check this out. These two brothers are going to have a great fun time playing that, and I'm excited to see what they do. We have our newest show, which launched last week on Tuesdays at 4 p.m., Out of Character with Mark Tassin, with special guest this week, Terry Brooks. They're going to talk... Do you have something to say, Peter?
No, I just like,
excited.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I want to put a little sound in there to
I like that. I like that.
Good.
Yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. So we and then immediately following that at 5 p.m. we have Kathy Paints. In case you're wondering what she does on that show, she paints, and it's answers your questions as well. Kathy's fantastic, so tune in there and have a great time. And then of course Wednesdays we have Actoroki at 6 p.m. Now this is going to be the final RPG session and for the series finale of Agi and the Anumians. This is really exciting. We have obviously Javion's there.
The finale.
So we are really, really excited to get started on this Actoroki cycle again. We also have Fridays at 2 p.m. Join us back here for Table Takes. And then at 3:30 again, I'm just saying this for you guys to remember, we're going to be having episode 2 of our 5-episode mini arc with Everyday Heroes. So keep joining us back after that, as well as Sarah's Table next week, where we're doing Yasma's Bed and Breakfast. Fantastic game. I got to play it. I'm actually in that, so tune in. But yeah, thank you to all of our wonderful hosts on this screen right now. Thank you for my mute button, and thank you to all of the viewers who are watching. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back with more games at 3:30. See you soon.